There is a specific kind of silence that follows a catastrophe. It isn't peaceful. It is the heavy, oppressive silence of a place where life has simply ceased to be. In the 19th century, the world was loud with the noise of glory. It was an era obsessed with the romance of conquest, the blare of trumpets, the thunder of cannons, the pristine uniforms of generals. Art was the mechanism of this noise. It was used to dress war in gold braid and honor. But in 1871, one man walked out of the scorching heat of Central Asia, carrying a canvas that stripped that costume away. He didn't bring back a painting of a victory. He brought back a mirror. He brought back a vision so stark, so undeniably real, that the government of one of the most powerful empires on earth tried to wipe it from existence. They didn't hate it because it was a lie. They hated it because they feared it exposed truth. Today we are looking at a painting that was banned for being too real, a masterpiece that predicts the ultimate end of all conflict. To understand why this image terrified the Russian czars and German generals, we have to look past the shock and into the symbols. This is not just a pile of skulls. It is a coded message. First, look at the landscape, the setting. Vereshchagin paints a world that has been utterly consumed. The earth is scorched yellow, parched, and lifeless. It tells us that war doesn't just kill men. It kills the world they live in. It sucks the moisture, the green, and the life out of the land, leaving behind only a desert where nothing can grow. This landscape is the aftermath of victory. And then, the scavengers, the ravens. On a literal level, they are birds of prey, but symbolically, they represent the indifference of animal nature, and perhaps something darker. Think of the great men of history, the emperors, the kings, the generals who sit in palaces while battles rage. In this painting, the ravens are the only living things. They are the ones who benefit. They feast on the pile. They stand on top of the dead, sleek and well-fed, circling the carnage. Vereshchagin is subtly suggesting that the rulers, those who declare the wars, are no different than these carrion birds. They build their nests on mountains of skulls. To the bird and to the emperor, the soldier is just fodder. And finally, the pyramid itself, a geometric monument to death. There are no names here, no ranks, no friends or enemies. The skulls are anonymous. In death, the difference between a hero and a coward, a Russian and a Turkmen, is completely erased. They are just calcium, stacking up to build a throne for the crows. His symbolism was a direct attack on the narrative of the time. In the 1860s, the Russian Empire was expanding southward into Turkestan. The narrative in St. Petersburg was one of civilizing the barbarians. It was supposed to be a noble endeavor. Vereshchagin was not a pacifist observing from a distance. He was a soldier. He served in the imperial army. He fought in the siege of Samarkand. He killed men, but unlike his contemporaries, he possessed a psychological defect that would ruin his career. He could not look away from the ugly parts. When he returned to paint, the imperial court expected propaganda. They expected images that would make young men eager to enlist. Instead, Vereshchagin gave them the apotheosis. For years, critics analyzed the brushstrokes, but the true meaning of this painting lies in 5 words written on the frame. Without a title, this could be a historical documentation, a scene from the past, but Vereshchagin named it the Apotheosis of War. Apotheosis means the elevation of someone to the rank of a god, the climax, the highest point of glory. By using this word, he is being brutally sarcastic. He is saying, this is not a tragedy, this is not a mistake, this pile of bones is the climax of war, this is the glory you were promised. And then, he twisted the knife. He wrote a dedication on the frame that universalized the horror. Dedicated to all great conquerors, past, present, and to come. He wasn't just criticizing the Russian Tsar. He was indicting every leader who has ever lived and will ever live. He was telling them, this is your legacy. This is what you built. When the painting was unveiled in 1874, the military aristocracy was furious. General Konstantin von Kaufmann, Vereshchagin's former commander, saw it as a personal insult, a slander of the imperial army. The Russian government banned his works from exhibitions. Vereshchagin was accused of treason, of sympathizing with the enemy. The logic of the ban was simple yet terrifying. If a soldier sees this, he will not fight. The pressure was so intense that, in a fit of despair, Vereshchagin actually burned 3 of his other paintings. He destroyed his own art, because the truth was too heavy for his country to bear. The fear spread. When the exhibition moved to Berlin, Field Marshal Helmuth von Moltke forbade his German soldiers from visiting the gallery. He knew that one look at that pyramid of skulls could undo years of military conditioning. Vereshchagin spent his life warning the world about the meat grinder of war. He painted the end result over and over again, and in a twist of fate that feels almost written by a novelist, he eventually became part of his own warning. With the Apotheosis of War, he predicted the anonymity of death in battle, and that is exactly how he died. In 1904, during the Russo-Japanese War, Vereshchagin was aboard the battleship Petropavlovsk. He was there to observe, sketchpad in hand. The ship struck a Japanese mine. It didn't sink heroically in a long battle. It detonated. In less than 2 minutes, the ship and Vereshchagin were gone. There was no body to bury, no grave to visit. The man who painted the anonymous dead became one of them. He vanished into the very machinery of war he had spent his life criticizing. He left us this canvas as a final testament. The governments tried to ban it. They tried to silence him, but the painting remains. And as long as there are conquerors, past, present, and to come, the ravens will always have a feast.